Hello friends, Viktor George Leather Goods. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with your friends and family. We're back in the shop. Going to start it off with a brand new tips video. Got about 15 of them, maybe a little bit more. But anyway, some of them I guarantee you've never seen before. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into those. But if you notice the new Viktor George Leather Goods signage, if you're interested in that, I'll discuss it in the very last clip of this video, so stick around or fast forward to it if you're not interested in anything else. So anyway, let's get started. Let's go ahead and start with a handful of tips and ideas and things that can make your life easier. So the first thing is, you'll notice I draw a lot of my own patterns on my Knife Sheath School videos, and I use these Westcott self-centering rulers. Absolutely wonderful to use. I did recently find in a metal fabrication small business, saltcitysteel.org, a Picket Master Pro, and these are self-centering. So I use these all the time now. Very handy little tool to center absolutely anything that you need to center. So that's a fun one. Another simple one here in the shop on my tools that that I like to keep sharp and not damage. I take these little tubes from a hardware store, and then they will self-mold to these items. It doesn't matter if it's a flat tool. There we go. So you get the idea. Just go to the hardware store, pick you up some different size clear tubing, and then just mount them over your tools, and they will stay clean and sharp. All right, another thing here is we all know these wonderful daubers that have sort of taken over the industry. Thank goodness. These are from Maker's Leather Supply. This one happens to be from Ron. But the tip here is I use a liquid concoction of liquid glycerin saddle soap and a little bit of water as a pre-burnishing solution. Comes in really handy. And then I use, in this particular case, I'm not sure which burnishing solution I use. It might be Ron's, it might be Hagel's, etc. But anyway, you'll notice they come with marbles in them. These are great to have. So what I do is I take marbles for my jugs. Just drop them in there, and then you've got a great little shaker system. I put them literally in all of my solutions. All right, so if you are a mask maker, having one of these professional mannequin heads is really handy. You can place it on the bench. You can do all the molding that you want. It's anatomically correct for a face. Anyway, this was a mannequin head for a bicycle shop that went out of business. They used to display their sunglasses on. Search professional mannequin head and you can get you one. So if you were a mask maker, these come in handy to do all kinds of things. So there you go. We have our tools in a cup, and it's really not handy or practical until David Lane came up with this cup caddy. Let me show you this. So I don't know how many tools this thing holds. I can count it, but I won't waste your time. But check this out. That is his cup caddy. It's a 3D printed item. You can get that directly from him at ElaineCustomLeather@gmail.com. I'm going to put the information below so that you can reach him. Anyway, isn't that amazing? Fill that thing up, have it on your bench, get you 2 or 3 of these, and even if it's without the cup, works. I have, though, found that these little brad wires and 1,000 grit or 1,200 grit sandpaper, along with these assorted music wires, they come in all different sizes. So I just find the wire that basically fits down there in the cutting part. I place it underneath the sandpaper, and then I find my angle, and I take a couple of swipes of that. And after I do that, then I take a strop board and the sharp 90-degree edges, I just strop them onto the leather. This happens to be just flesh side up. I think it's 9-ounce veg tan. On this side here is my polishing strop, and I use basically a metal polish. You can use green rouge as well. I just like the application of this Flitz polish. Anyway, so once you polish that edge, if you don't have the luxury of having a line finisher with 8-inch horsehair brushes for final finishing of leather goods, this 4-inch horsehair brush was found and told to me by my friend Rob at Gunblinger. That's his Instagram handle. And this is absolutely amazing. I'll put the description on the bottom of this video, but this is fantastic. All I do, now you can place a plastic tube in there to shore up the inside, but I find you don't need it. So I just take a couple of 2-inch washers, a 1/2-inch 6-inch bolt, and I run it through there, and then set up your, so center that onto the plastic top and bottom, and that'll center it into that, and tighten that thing up. And then let me take you over to the drill press and show you how this thing works. So I have 2 of these, one for brown, one for black. You can also get another one for neutral. But anyway, I mount it into my bench drill press, have it on the lowest RPM, and then chuck it up, and it just works absolutely amazing as a horsehair polishing wheel. It's absolutely a wonderful tool to have. You don't need a line finisher. This is the real McCoy. Thank you, Rob. If you'll also notice, as a bonus tip here, I have this Nebo light. It's an NEBO, and these things have a magnetic base. And if you need a little bit more light on the subject, those things work fantastic. I actually set these up on my 2-ton press, I think it is, and these are amazing. They come in a couple different sizes. So there you go. Here's a little fun idea that I can show you. So this is old type, and I bought it in an antique shop, I think in Old Town Prescott, and bought the 3 letters I needed for my town of Ajo, and glued them together. Take yourself some cased leather, and I put a piece of paper underneath it so the steel doesn't affect the back of the leather. So get ready to press it. There's that Nebo light again, if you need a little more light on the subject. Anyway, center it and give yourself a good press. And as you can see, hopefully, that is nice and deep. All right, there you go. Let's talk about a hot box for a leather shop. And I'm going to demonstrate that really quickly with a pancake style holster, Glock 19. The pattern comes from George and crew at edcleather.com. You can buy the pattern, you can buy a click and ship, you can buy everything. It's really handy for holster makers. Anyway, once it's been molded and it's still wet, let me take you over to the hot box that I use now. I'll leave you with a couple of pictures of a hot box that I made years ago. It was just a box. I drilled a bunch of ventilation holes through it. I had a fan, and I think I used a chicken lamp as a heating lamp. Anyway, I now use what I'm going to show you next. My new hot box. It's a food dehydrator. This one happens to be from Yashi. Do a search. They have all kinds of them. This one suits my needs. It has a fan in there. It has a heating element in there. You can adjust the temperatures. Um, and I'm not 100% sure what I paid for it. I think in the 120 price range. But if you are in a high humid area or someplace where the shop is cold, this is the best way to dry items. So as you can see here, it comes with all kinds of racks. I have little hooks on there, and then I just put it into my easy bake oven here, and turn it on. It's got your different times, your temperature adjustments up and down. What you can set it to whatever you want. I usually use it around 95 to 110, and just let it do its magic, and then it'll dry it. And it's an absolutely wonderful tool for a leather shop. Someone might ask, why do you need one? You live in Arizona. Well, it gets so hot here that it literally bakes the leather. So this works for me. All right, so I make a lot of painted items. I'll show you in the next clip what I do. And these have been sealed after the paint has dried. And again, if you're in a high humid area, all you have to do is put it into your dehydrator, set it up, and let that finish cure. You can also do it prior to the finish to let your paint cure, and it's a fantastic little item. All right, let's talk about some finishes. We've all used them. This happens to be black Resolene. I've got a bucket full of Resolene for dipping, and the leather sheen, and this is a great product, the leather finish from Be Natural, and also some Pro Resist, etc. Whatever finishes you use are great. I started back in the day when COVID dye was all we had. And then, of course, Angelus came about, and they're a wonderful paint. And remember, I use marbles in these as well. But now I use for painting, I use these Alpha Flex paints. They are fantastic. They go on very nice and clear and clean. And so this is my new paints. These are available through Maker's Leather Supply. But for the final finishing on these items that get a lot of wear and tear, bracelets for example, I now use LK Shoes Leather Top Coat. These are one's one's matte and one's high gloss. These are used in the leather shoe industry. You know, a lot of the youngsters nowadays are painting their sneakers, and this finish is amazing. So apply it however you normally apply it, airbrush or however you do it, and then go ahead, once that paint is dried and cured, then you do the same thing with the finish. This is scratch resistant. Check it out, LK Finishes. Having a tree stump workbench in your shop is not only cool, it really is functional. Anyway, get yourself a tree stump. This one's about waist high. I have a steel plate on top for setting rivets and other applications of that sort. I do have a video on my YouTube where I show you how I set a belt strap system to mount all these tools. But anyway, have one of those rubber cutting pads, and for cutting rosettes, it doesn't bounce. It's a super strong setup. I haven't quite used or mastered the heavy mauls, so I use brass hammers, and these things are fantastic. They won't mar the tools. Let's talk about these pointy cotton swabs. I use them in my armory, so to speak, for cleaning certain handguns, etc. But they make great applicators for putting dye and finish in your holes in your belts and other applications of maybe some pinpoint fine use. Anyway, we all go to hotels. They all have these shower caps. You pay for them, take them home. Let me show you what I use them for. So I use these shower caps on spools that I've opened, and It's great to prevent dust and dirt from accumulating on them while the machine is sitting idle. So you can find other uses for these shower caps. That's primarily what I use them for. Every time I go to a hotel, I grab them. This is just too cool not to share with you. I received this pencil cap from a good friend of mine, Jonas, up in Sweden. And I use in it the graphite drawing pencil 8 Bravo. And it's the kind that you can actually draw on veg tan leather. And it's a wonderful pencil. But the cool part of this is that inside the cap is a sharpening tool. And it really works good. Then you just put it back in there and it's good to go. Had to share. Thanks, Jonas. Let's talk about some homemade tools. Don't blink, we're gonna go fast. So starting with this beautiful industrial bandsaw blade that a good friend of mine, John, made for me. It is sharp. It's a great skiver and homemade from a bandsaw blade. So if you have some skills in that area, think about using that. Also, these 3 are high carbon steel old putty knives that I've sharpened and shaped into skivers and cutters. Absolutely the best metal for that kind of stuff. A copper tube cleaner, so to speak. It's very aggressive and makes a great leather scratcher. Chiseled screwdriver comes in handy for filigree and other applications. And a tapered wooden paint handle inverted into a larger handle for slot burnishing. All right, so that's just a small example of that. Let's go ahead and now talk about some homemade modeling tools and molding tools used for holsters and other applications where you're using molding tools. So let's start with a couple that I've shown you before. A faucet handle, very smooth, makes a great molding tool. A finial, also a lamp finial is wonderful as well. I use a pear shader that's smooth, mounted into a handle, also for molding leather items. And these 2 items are from the jewelry metal burnishing tools. And they make absolutely great molding tools as well. These are plastic paper creasers from a place like Michael's or any other craft type store. They make great creasers and bone folders. And of course our polished antler tine for molding. And years ago, I have this letter opener that I use for creasing and molding as well. Nowadays, these wonderful tools here I use a lot. This is a Barry King molding tool. It's got a rounded head and a pointed head. A craft tool creaser is very nice to have, and this happens to be a beautiful actual horse bone folder creaser. All right, so that is just some tools to give you some ideas. If you're a beginner, you don't need to go out and buy the new tools right away. There's lots of other things that you can use. So in this modern time of online instant gratification, instant knowledge through YouTube, etc., I still have to default back to great books. So we all know the Leathercraft Manual, Al Stolman, the late 60s. Of course, his 3-volume saddle making series, just classics. If you don't have these in your library, try to find them. Here's just a couple other books that I find that are very, very important for the leather craftsman, no matter what skill level you have. But anyway, this Leathercraft Leatherwork School from Ellen Valentine is just amazing. It shows in very great detail a lot of great steps on how to fabricate leather. And then also Leather Working Handbook by Valerie Michael. Again, just amazing techniques and skills that anyone can develop with a little bit of practice. Of course, holster books. This just came out and will soon be a classic as well. The Design and Construction of the Practical Leather Holster, Pancake Edition. This is one of many more to come from George Canfield and crew at edcleather.com. And it covers everything. It's amazing. It's 1 inch thick, 13 chapters, 600 line drawings, photos. Tells you everything you need to know about a pancake holster, a snap cake holster, a thumb brake holster. Get you one of those as well. This isn't necessarily a how-to book, but this should be in every library if you're a holster maker of any kind. Packing iron will give you nothing but wonderful inspiration. It's probably one of the best books on this subject out there. Already very expensive and hard to find, but these are the books that I recommend. Don't always just rely on online sources. Develop yourself a library. As I promised you, this is my new leather shop signage. It is about 31 inches around and it is illuminated. It's absolutely fantastic, and you can adjust the brightness. That's 100%. You can almost work with that light. Anyway, that is a fantastic shop item to have, and I am so fortunate that my wife got that for me, and I wanted to share it with you. Look below for how to get one. Well, that concludes this video today of all of the tips and tricks and suggestions and shop ideas. I probably have some more, but I think I've saturated this particular video. Hope some were helpful to you, unorthodox at times, but there are no rules in this leather game. Just remember that. Doesn't matter. If it works for you, use it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help my channel out by doing that. Leave a comment, and we'll talk to you on the next one coming up very soon. Thank you.